Hello, everyone. Welcome. Brandy Falcon here, and thank you for joining me for this essential oil class on going back to school and how to survive fall 2020 because, oh my God, it has been a doozy so far through winter and spring. And this time of year is always a little stressful and exciting at the same time because kids are wanting to see their friends again at school, but some don't like school as much, so this can be an anxious time of year. And then this is also the time of year where people tend to get sick in general, but especially kids going back to school. And I personally believe it's because of the poor habits in summer, and maybe they're not getting enough sunshine without sunscreen, vitamin D from that. We'll talk about that in a moment. And just poor habits, going to bed later, not getting as much sleep, and then all of that sugar that they usually get in the summertime does not help gut health and immune health. So these are why we usually talk about supporting health in fall for back to school. But then this year we have this special challenge of what COVID is bringing, all these different changes to the learning environment. So with some people choosing to learn at home instead, there's some stress around that. And then those who are choosing to go back to school, there's challenges there as well with the sanitation and the different social structure. And I know that many of us, many of the kids are not even going back to school. There's that distance learning that's kind of in between. So anyway, essential oils can help with all of this. So we're going to get into that in just a moment here. So let me introduce myself, those of you who don't know me. Again, I am Brandy Falcon, owner of Falcon Healing Arts, and I have been a homeschool mom for almost 6 years now. We are going on 6 years. I am an acupuncturist and yoga teacher as well, and I started homeschooling my son back when he was in kindergarten. Homeschool was always my heart's desire, and I had already done a lot of research around it, the different approaches. So when it wasn't working out for him, and he actually asked to be pulled out a little over halfway through, I was very prepared. But I had already started my brick and mortar acupuncture business. That kind of went to a screeching halt with all of this. I was back to teaching yoga again because all of this, there was a pause when I had my son when he was younger. Anyway, I had to redirect my work life and placed a greater priority on setting people up with having natural medicine at home, primarily essential oils. And so I am now a premier leader with doTERRA essential oils, which are the oils that we're going to be talking about mostly today. So what I am not is a medical doctor. So just want to say that up front here, that yes, I am a wellness practitioner, but there's still language I am not using here. We are not diagnosing, treating, or curing any ailments. So we'll have some questions at the end here after I stop the recording, and I can give you some input there, but this is not my scope of practice. I can guide you to resources that can help you. But most of this information is based on my experience and my research, which again, I am well studied around all of this, especially emotional health with kids and keeping them healthy. Pediatrics is actually a specialty in my Chinese medicine practice. So definitely ask me questions about that. But I do hope that you're not just taking what I'm saying as gospel. I want you to do your own research too, because you really have to look for it these days. We are all experiencing that Western medicine, as awesome as it is, it's not meeting all of our needs. Many people are looking for natural alternatives, and we are seeing a greater pushback. Not to be a conspiracy theorist, but there is a lot of resistance from that side of medicine where they're not wanting this information to be readily available to people. They do want you dependent on their system. And this is tied into insurance and so many other agencies. And it's just so important to learn how to care for yourself and to find that power again, because we have been giving it away for quite a long time. And I think that's what has many parents so worried right now, is they don't know what to do. And many, I think, are in a good place now with their decision about school, but still they're afraid of their child getting sick at some point from anything, really, because there's always that risk, right? So anyway, I'm not discounting what medical professionals may say. It's always a good idea to see a doctor to get any serious condition ruled out. However, it's a good idea to always try to investigate something that is happening with your child because you know them best. So the goal of this class, I already alluded to, is to empower you. And I want you to feel resourceful. I want you to be one of those parents that even if a friend or another family member has something going on, you are the person they are going to ask help for or to guide them to a certain resource. Us moms can be that for other moms. We are the village, right? And let's increase our skills to help each other. And I want you to feel really confident with your choices and with what you're doing, because you are going to be getting questions from others, and having that confidence is really going to support you, because if you stick with this, I assure you that you are going to be healthy longer. So since we are focusing mostly on essential oils, we're going to be talking briefly about the three cool things about them, the three main ways to use them at home and in the classroom. Hopefully your child will be able to bring oils to school if you're going back to school, and then how to de-stress and stay healthy for this time of year. Those of you who are not using oils, we're going to talk about how you can get them into your home, how I can support you with that, and then we'll have time for questions at the end. And this isn't all going to be about essential oils. We are going to talk about other lifestyle choices you can be making, diet and meal plans as well. So what are your concerns? Maybe this is actually a time you want to write them down, but what many people are going to be feeling is that if you are making the decision to homeschool, perhaps your worry is going to be that your child is falling behind, that what you're doing at home isn't sufficient and they're missing something that they would be getting at school. That's not the case usually. And I'll talk about that more at the end if you want to know more about my homeschooling experience. You may be really stressed out regardless of which choice you are making. If your kids are going to school, you might be worried about the chemical exposure there. I know I would, with all the disinfecting that's happening there every day and then in between periods. And how that's going to be affecting your child's holistic health, body, heart, and mind. Certainly, there's going to be anxiety regardless of the choice you're making. Again, if you're feeling less confident about this choice, and hopefully as you're becoming immersed, that confidence will grow. And then there's the whole mental health aspect, really about mindset here, that if you have a good mindset going into this, both with your approach to schooling and caring for your child, you're going to be getting further, quicker, and staying healthier longer. And if you do get sick, if you or your child does get sick, you are going to have solutions right away now at the tip of your fingers that you can start using immediately. My son did get sick a couple of months ago. I have no idea what it was, but we resolved it so quickly, really just with oils. I did some acupressure, but it was primarily the essential oils. He did have a fever in the beginning. It broke within 24 hours, and he was on his way to perfect health within 3 days. So anyway, I'll remind you again that oils are going to help support the body. They're not going to prevent illness, treat it completely, or cure any disease. So I want you to think for a moment, what does prevent disease? And what does treat disease? And what cures disease? Some people who are very immersed in Western medicine may be saying that the doctor is responsible for all of this, and that is absolutely not true. Your body is what prevents disease and treats disease and cures disease. And it's not just your physical body. There is the mental and emotional aspect of holistic health that helps you feel whole and heal. And really, we're talking with Western medicine approach that it's your immune system that is keeping you healthy. But there's many things, including essential oils, that are supporting your immune system. There is proper nutrition, of course. We need balanced macrobiotics of protein, carbohydrates, and fats. Fats are so good. Fats are extremely important for brain health for children. Their brains continue to grow into their early 20s. They need saturated fat from animals. This is a very unpopular opinion, but it is a traditional fact, traditional diets. These are best for kids and people in general. So do not eat trans fats, a lot of processed, even nut oils tend to go rancid quickly. These create free radical damage in the body and oxidative stress that affect cell function and immune function. So very careful with that. And then we need enough vitamins and minerals to support our body functions and to keep us healthy. And there are usually a lot of gaps, especially with kids, because of their limited preferences. We'll talk about this more at the end, but you always want to be offering foods to kids, even if they haven't been liking something for a while. It's always a good idea to be persistent. And you want varied foods with that. But if they're not getting proper nutrition, then you want to consider supplementing. We already talked, and we'll talk more about how essential oils can support a strong immune system. Mental health, again, mindset is key here, and relieving stress as it comes, not letting it build up to the point where it's overwhelming and you're just frozen. You as a parent, as a teacher, and for your kids, you all need to be supporting your mental health. You want to be getting plenty of exercise, so we need enough circulation to move all the constituents in the blood, which then affect our health and our sentinels for immune defense. We want to be getting plenty of sunshine. This is where we get the most vitamin D. We need sun. And if your kids have been slathered in sunscreen all summer, it's a good idea to research this, and I can give you more information on how beneficial sunshine is, how necessary vitamin D is for immune health. And really, you only need like 20 minutes of full exposure from the sun, and get it now while it's still strong, because you'll be building a bank of vitamin D that the body is going to rely on when the sun is weaker in the fall and winter. Of course, we need good sleep. This is when the body heals. And lucky for all of you who chose homeschooling, again, there is no right or wrong choice you made if you're staying in school or homeschooling. But I really do feel like when kids are at home, you can start bringing in these healthy habits if they're not established already, with proper diet and especially with sleep. There's not this worry now of getting the kids to sleep at a certain hour and waking them up with an alarm clock. You can be more flexible with your schedule and really focus on getting enough sleep. We do not wake up with an alarm. The sun wakes us up. I usually wake up before my son, and that's when I do work, and that's a very precious time. I want him to sleep as long as possible. There is no hurry to get schooling or other things done. So I hope that you really enjoy that part of healing with good sleep. And then, of course, we want to be reducing our toxic load. And this is something we should all be paying attention to, removing the products in our home, and even those that we use as personal care, because many are toxic. The great majority are toxic. But if your child is exposed to even more at school, then you really want to be doing your best to eliminate any at home, to really help just unburden that load that's now going to be on their bodies. Deep breath. So let's get into the 3 cool things about oils. And I'm not going to take too long on these next few slides because I know many of you have heard this a lot. So essential oils are safe. They give us benefits without side effects. And this is one of the main reasons why people are looking for natural health tools, because they are seeing that a lot of pharmaceutical drugs have side effects that can sometimes be worse than the health challenge they were trying to fix in the first place. So essential oils are a very reliable natural health tool that have primarily by benefits and hardly any side effects. One thing I always like to mention here is you don't want to put essential oils in the eyes, up the nose, or in the ears. You want to be careful with internal dosage, even though our essential oils, doTERRAs, you can use internally, but as directed. And with citrus oils, when we're talking about getting a lot of sun exposure, you don't want to be putting citrus oils on the skin and then going out directly in the sun within 12 hours of application, or you're more likely to burn. So you simply put the citrus oil somewhere else on the body where you're not exposed, or just use citrus oils at night. But you can easily just put it under your clothes or on the wrists, or a place that is not so exposed, like the face or the chest or the top of the shoulders. Essential oils are made from plants. So sorry, I got distracted for a moment. So they are completely natural, and we extract these essential oils from the leaves, the stems, the flowers, the bark, the roots, all different plant parts, as opposed to chemicals that are produced synthetically in the lab, which is how most of our pharmaceutical drugs are made. And this is why they're a problem, because they are so purified that the body has a hard time recognizing them. And it mounts this huge response against them and just has a hard time processing them and assimilating them, and causes more side effects as a result. So with essential oils, they are recognized by the body and assimilated very easily. And our essential oils from doTERRA, we have internal testing as well as third-party testing that ensures that they are safe, effective, and potent. So we have the most tested, most trusted oils on the market, and this is why they're used by universities, by medical doctors in hospitals, and there is so much research on our essential oils because there is this testament of quality assurance. Essential oils are effective. They are not a band-aid that is just going to treat the symptom. They are going to do that, but they do help you get to the root cause of health issues as well, because they can affect cellular function. And that is because since essential oils are oils, they're able to go into the lipid cell membrane and actually affect intracellular function. So can help, I don't want to get into detail here, be FDA compliant, but they can just support cell function. So you know that the nucleus is in there with your DNA. It's less likely that things are going to get jumbled there, and have less issues with proper cell life duration, and with mounting a defense against invaders who like to come into our cells, break them up, and make more of their own, and then break up the cell. So essential oils are also extremely affordable when you compare it to what we pay for in healthcare these days. We spend the most on healthcare than any other developed country, and yet we are one of the sickest. And that is actually being highlighted very well right now with this COVID crisis. That it has lingered here in the US for quite a long time, especially now when it shouldn't really be prevalent, because we have the strength of the sun and everything. Anyway, American healthcare has issues, and the health of Americans is not that great right now. So our healthcare has not been productive this way. So you will find that if you are using essential oils and natural medicine, that you're actually saving money, not only on these oils for treatment, but we can't say oils prevent disease. You will find that as you're using them in your daily healthy habits, it is most likely that you are not going to be sick as often. Oils also last a long time, usually 3 to 5 years. There's an expiration date on the bottom of our oils. I don't have one here to show you, but it's pretty clear. And you can even stretch them out longer if you're diluting them with fractionated coconut oil or another carrier oil. So let us now talk about the 3 ways to use essential oils. You can use them aromatically, which is the quickest way to affect your mood. So if you're using essential oils for mood support, for anxiety, for even depression, these are ways to support these conditions. Again, not going to cure it, but when you perceive through the olfactory system a scent, this is perceived by the limbic system of the brain, which is the oldest reptilian part of the brain that is emotional and where we hold memory. And it's really hard to have a challenging emotion and smell something pleasant like wild orange and peppermint and not have a pleasant response. So I always like to compare this to meditation, where it gives you a pause to process how you're feeling and maybe even change the way you're approaching a certain situation. So allows you to be more responsive and less reactive. It also, when you're experiencing oils aromatically, it has a physical response, especially with oils like peppermint. It's very clear that it opens the airways, clears the airways. It cleanses the air because of the properties of essential oils that help to fight, again, trying to be compliant here with my language, but some of the threats that are floating around in your home. And so also when you are inhaling it, that is a direct pathway to the lungs, so can help support your respiratory health and your immune system from that. So topically, we can, so using oils topically, this is a good idea if you're wanting to affect a local area. So if you have an ache or pain or any discomfort in the body, you want to put the essential oils directly there. So if your child has a tummy ache, so there could be this physical manifestation of the stress on their tummies. Um, you can put the oils directly there. Digestion is a good blend to do that. And typically we would want to dilute these essential oils with fractionated coconut oil or another carrier oil so you can spread it more on this larger area of the body. And then that also helps the oils stay on the skin and penetrate into the skin and into the bloodstream. So they are there lasting longer. And you can also soothe minor irritations, any skin issues, rashes from mask use. We'll get into that in a bit. And then, of course, supporting the immune system. So always aromatic, topical, and internal use can support your immune system and systemic health. So internal is next, and this is specific to doTERRA. And it's only the essential oils that have the supplement chart on the back of the oil bottle. It'll say that it's appropriate for use right there, and it's usually 1 drop in 4 ounces of water if you're going to use the oils that way. So for kids, we typically don't use essential oils internally until they're older. With my son, yes. So 10 to 12, that's a good range where you might start incorporating internal use or even upgrading. When we talk about the supplements, upgrading to the adult versions, I consider kids little adults at that point. But there are peppermint and On Guard beadlets that are 1/4 of a drop, which they can take internally, and that is an appropriate dose. There are also veggie capsules that they can take, again, for older kids. These are all ready, again, in a capsule and diluted. For adults, older kids, you could also put them under the tongue. And so I already talked about soft gels. You could also buy veggie capsules and actually make your own capsules if the child is able to swallow them. So let's now talk about specific oils, and we'll talk about immune support first. So On Guard is our protective blend. This is the oil you're probably going to hear about the most around this time for doTERRA. So we have a whole On Guard line, and this is the concentrated oil that you see here. This is the form of the oil that you would put in a diffuser, but you could also make your own roller bottle blends or just put a drop or two in a dollop of fractionated coconut oil to put on your body to use topically. Usually for On Guard, we put the oil on the bottoms of the feet for kids. And this is because the pores there are very large. It's also pleasing to get a foot massage, so a very good way to apply oils on your kids. Also along the spine would be a good place to use them. So again, for kids, I would hold off with internal use, and On Guard is pretty spicy too, so they would have a strong response. But you can look into the beadlets if you're interested in that, if your child is very challenged. So Stronger is an alternative to On Guard, and this is one of the oils in the kids collection. So I think we're probably going to be talking about all of the oils in the kids collection. It's 7 roller bottle blends that came out a couple of years ago, and these are made especially for kids. So yeah, it was 2 years ago because I remember my son was 8 when this came out, and he's the perfect age. I just gave this to him. It's really clear how to use it. There's a chart with pictures, so even if your kid doesn't know how to read, it's pretty obvious what each oil is designed to do. And they are they're designed to be made for physical, and emotional support. So stronger is more for physical support. Again, it's called a protective blend, just like On Guard, but it's made with different essential oils. So I know frankincense is in this, Litsea, and I don't remember what else, but it's not as spicy smelling. It's actually very pleasing. And you would put this along their spine or on the soles of their feet. If your child does get sick, Breathe would be the essential oil that you would want to diffuse to help open up their airways. You could also put it on their chest, maybe a tiny bit around their nose. If your child has other issues with breathing, again, not getting into certain conditions here, but Breathe is the oil that you would want to be using for that to support respiratory health. So again, on the chest, around the nose, there's lung points, just so you know, acupressure points around the chest, especially right here above the crease of the armpits. This is lung 1 and lung 2, so that's a good place to put Breathe, as well as Ren 17, which is right along the sternum. And then lemon essential oil would be a good one to start taking internally. And this is to help, it helps to break up mucus. So I'm getting a little sidetracked here. So physically it helps to break up mucus. So if they have a cough or congestion, it might be a good idea to put some lemon on those areas. But taking it internally will help break up some mucus in the throat, but it will also help improve digestion. So we're going to get there in a moment, but proper digestion is very closely linked with immune support. And in alternative medicine, we don't even think of the immune system as being a standalone system. There is synergy between all the systems of the body. And then again, there's a synergy between physical, mental, emotional, and even spiritual health. So there is no true division here. But let me move on. So DDR prime is our cellular complex. This is the oil you would want to be using, again, on the soles of the feet or along the spine. It's an oil that you use topically or internally when you think your child's cells might be needing more support. So trying to be creative here. If your child has a condition where it seems like their body is fighting itself, if you know what I mean, then this may be an oil to use for that. Or if you're concerned about their cells going wacky because of all the toxic substances that they're exposed to, this is the oil you would want to use along their spine, soles of the feet. If they're older, definitely using internally. So let's get into nutrition next. You'll definitely want to be filling in any nutritional gaps. doTERRA has a child's chewable vitamin that I love. My son is actually upgraded to the adult trio of vitamins, which you see below. But the chewable vitamin is great for younger kids. And it's also a good idea to take the IQ Mega with it. And the IQ Mega helps with brain health. This is why it's called IQ Mega, because it is filled with omega-3 fatty acids. These are the ones that really nourish the brain. So what you get in fatty fish like salmon, of course, you're going to be wanting to feed that to your kids. But again, if they're not eating it, you will want to be supplementing. And this is a great one that is easily accepted by them. If they won't take it on a spoon by itself, then you could put it in a smoothie or applesauce.
or I mean, you could even put it in water. Just know that oil and water don't mix, so there will be a little film at the top, but you may just need to be creative. You could put this in oatmeal or a porridge type cereal as well. So again, if they're able to swallow capsules and they're older, you can have them take the Lifelong Vitality Pack instead. That is a multivitamin, an essential fatty acid complex, and an antioxidant blend, which will really help manage all those toxins that they are being exposed to right now. So if you're a teacher or a parent, I don't even know if parents are going to be able to work in the classroom, but if you are, you will want to be supplementing your nutrition to make sure that your cells are working properly. Terra greens, I have actually not tried this yet. This is one that you would typically use if there are a lot of gaps in your diet. We do get a lot of greens in our diet, even my son, so I've never had to buy this, but definitely consider it if your child doesn't like anything green. Perhaps they will accept this in a smoothie or another form. And then we have the probiotics here. I personally use both of these, the kids probiotic and the PB Assist that's made for adults. I like to alternate them because they have different varieties of probiotics in them. And it's a good idea to have that variety. So I will take one for a week and then alternate with the other for a week and then go off those and just have fermented foods for a week. So maybe you would want to try that too. But the PB Assist Junior is kind of like the old Pixie Sticks. It's sweetened with xylitol, so it's not going to harm the teeth. In fact, it might help the teeth. And so very sweet tasting and has a watermelon natural flavor to it and is really yummy. They may be asking to have this, in fact. But if they don't like just taking the powder, you can put it in water and it dissolves very easily. And I actually consider this more immune support, but again, digestion and immune function are intimately linked. And that is because the beneficial bacteria in our gut form the greatest defense against pathogens. So know that. You will definitely want to be using probiotics right now. So reducing toxic load, these are the things that you will want to be looking for and removing from your home. You will want to be removing anything that has the word fragrance on it. Fragrance is one word that can have thousands of chemicals in it. So I'm pausing here for emphasis because this is huge. So many of us are starting to hear that phthalates and parabens and other endocrine disruptors are not so good for your health. So you might be looking for those chemicals on a label, but those can be in fragrance. So there are even natural products on the market at Whole Foods too. You can't assume that just because you're shopping at a health food store that everything is healthy for you. When you see that word fragrance, it is a cue that there might be something potentially harmful in it. So try to ditch anything with fragrance. You'll also want to be removing any obvious perfumes from your home. So spray perfumes, not good. That is a direct pathway to your lungs. So you are inhaling and affecting the lung cells, most likely in a negative way when you are breathing in fragrance and perfumes. So ditching candles and air fresheners is huge. And I know this time of the year, that's when you're like, oh, I want my house to smell like autumn. And you're buying these pretty candles at Yankee Candle or other things, getting the Glade plug-in fall scent. or even in your car, whatever, use your diffuser instead. It's a very, very simple switch out if you're wanting to um, bring in that fall mood in your house, because it is very uplifting. It is nostalgic and brings good memories with it, but it is harmful. So instead, diffusing to replace fragrance. And then you could also be replacing your cleaning chemicals, which are hazardous too, using our on guard cleaner concentrate. That could be used all over the home. So you're not using separate products in each area of your home. And this is very safe and effective with your laundry detergent as well. Lemon is great for breaking up grease, so you might want to bring in this into your cleaning as well. If you have more questions about this, reach out to me. I actually have done a few classes on this. And actually, if you're watching this in the Essential Oil Lifestyle group on Facebook, there are tons of posts that I did on this a few months ago. So look back there because there are a lot of DIY recipes there as well. And it's worth it to take the time to get the ingredients for DIY. It's usually just a few that you need to have on hand, like baking soda and vinegar and Castile soap. Once you have them, it's really easy to whip something up quick. You'll also need containers too, and you could get those from doTERRA, aromatools.com, oillife.com, or even Amazon, although I would not trust the stuff on Amazon. So those other sources are way better. Quality sleep. Again, you may not be needing this so much if you are homeschooling. Hopefully you can adapt to a nice rhythm on your own, slowing down when it gets dark. That will be helping us in a couple of months where it's very obvious when it's dark that we need to be slowing down and adjusting your routine. Less light in the house. For us, we like to move upstairs. That's a cue for our body to do more relaxing things up there. That's when I do another yoga practice or with my son reading. He's now starting to join me with the stretching and just a good idea to shift your area as well as what you're doing in the home to really prompt the mind to start to relax and release the melatonin that's needed to fall asleep easily. But this is a great time, even if you are homeschooling, to bring in some self-care with that, because I still do that. Sleep is one area where I need help because I have a very pensive mind. And if you are worried, this is more for parents probably. If you are worried about what you're doing, teaching your child when you're homeschooling, you might be needing more sleep support. So in your nighttime routine, you can be putting Serenity on the bottoms of the feet, massaging them. Maybe get your child or your partner to massage your back with Serenity. There are some acupressure points behind the ear that help with relaxation. So doing that, or even giving yourself a scalp massage with Serenity, is very soothing. You can combine that with copaiba, which will help definitely. And copaiba is our CBD alternative. Because the beta caryophyllene in it binds directly to CB2 receptors, helping the body systemically. Balance is our grounding blend. You can use that at night, but typically I use that in the morning just to anchor my attention and helps me from getting carried away with the day. So you do need support in the beginning of the day and at the end, depending on who you are, to stay grounded and not get stressed out. And then, sorry, I'm going from right to left here, but Calmer is the restful blend in the kids collection. And again, you can just be giving this kit to your child and tell them, okay, you could use your sleep oil now. We're getting ready for bed, and they could do it themselves. on their feet, on as much of their spine that they can reach. But remember these points behind the ear, and they can do this massage themselves. So mental health, the steady and brave blend are going to be so valuable for your kids. So these I'm thinking of more for the kids who are going to school. The kids collection actually has a top that's a carabiner that they can put on their backpack and carry with them. So that's pretty cool, but I know some teachers don't like having these in the class because it could be distracting. Although the way it sounds like classes are going to be set up, I'm not sure that's going to be so much of a problem, but definitely ask. And then when your child is feeling overwhelmed, and hopefully we can be bringing mindfulness into this, that they're starting to notice what it feels like in their body when they're overwhelmed. If they're getting too excited, that's when they would want to be using the steady blend, which is very similar to balance. So if they have shoes on, I know they can't put it on the bottoms of their feet, but they could do that before as they're getting ready for school. You could easily just put it on the inner ankles instead. But even just putting it on the wrists and then inhaling it, that aromatic perception of the oil is going to help them ground too. And then brave is one that's going to help them with confidence, with mindset, really going into this circumstance, or this new scenario. I don't know what to call it, with bravery, with courage. So we don't use this too often, but a few years ago, my son was doing a gymnastics tournament, and he had never had to do anything like this in public. And he used the Brave blend, and it was really empowering for him. And it's not something you need to bring attention to as well. Again, if it's just available to them and you tell them, this will help you when you're feeling scared or when you're feeling nervous, then let them use it on their own. They know their bodies best, and it's good for you to start giving them more power. So already talked about the benefits of copaiba. Adaptive is the calming blend, great for kids. This might be good to introduce to your teachers. See if they are open to having a diffuser in the classroom, because you'll probably want to be alternating using On Guard for the immune support, and then adaptive, which helps with the mood support. And doTERRA has done a lot of research with adaptive on people who are experiencing tremendous imbalances with their mood and emotions. So this is one of the oils that is being studied really well in certain universities and used in hospitals. So let's bring it into the classroom too. And then any citrus oil is going to lift the mood wherever you are and help perk up your attention. So helps with focus as well. And I think that's what we're going to next. So I have a fan blowing directly on me, and that's why I'm getting a little tired here. This is my cue for sleep. Anyway, you'll be wanting help with focus wherever your child is, at home or in school. And Intune is the focus blend, but we do have an alternative in the kids collection called Thinker. So both have essential oils that are uplifting and really perk up the mood and are very pleasant, so that one is enjoying the direct experience of learning. Tamer is the digestive blend. Remember, I was talking about DigestZen earlier, which is very fabulous for an upset stomach. But for children, again, if you're getting the kids collection, they can be using this on their own. And I like, when I'm using a roller bottle, I like putting the roller in the belly button and then bringing it up. So I'm not showing you my belly button, but you can imagine rolling the roller ball in your belly button and then moving up the center line of the belly. So there's a lot of important acupressure points there as well. So peppermint and wild orange together are phenomenal for focus. And those are some that you would want to be diffusing, maybe in the classroom if it's getting a little dull, maybe at home if the whole family is needing a pick-me-up. And then for detoxing, again, good idea for everyone to be focusing on this, but especially if your child is being exposed to a lot of chemicals at school. I would be doing an Epsom salt bath a few times a week. If your child is open to it, maybe even every day. So lavender is very soothing. And we say is the Swiss Army knife of essential oils. It has so many beneficial functions. And then frankincense and copaiba together work really well to support cellular function and proper cell turnover, which is needed for appropriate growth and development. And then the Epsom salt actually helps to draw out impurities. I have a blog post if you're interested on detoxing, which will give you more information. So let me know if you want that. But one important thing to remember about doing Epsom salt baths is you want to limit the time in the bath to about 20 minutes, because there will be a point where your body will start to reabsorb the toxins that are going into the water. So I would say 10 to 15 minutes is the effective range where you are just eliminating toxins from the body. And this is so great to do at night because the magnesium, actually all these oils are very restful. And then the magnesium is really soothing and helps promote better sleep and helps with digestion too. Your kids will be wanting to get a lot of exercise. You too, if you're the teacher at home. We like to go for walks for our PE. Sometimes Shay and I, my son, we will sprint outside. He's in a very competitive stage, which I'm loving because if he is resisting, I'll just say, well, don't you want to race me? And he's like, yes, I want to race you. And that will get him outside. So if you are sore from your exercising, Deep Blue, the rub, which is the lotion version, or the essential oil diluted, it is very strong. You definitely want to dilute it. That soothes achy muscles. And then Tamer, I'm not actually sure why that is on here for digestive support. I suppose some might have issues with digestion as you're exercising. But Rescuer is the kids collection alternative to Deep Blue. So it's not as strong smelling. It is just as effective. Rescuer is actually the one that I keep in my purse or my backpack. So I use that for myself on the go when I am having neck tension. I use it there. I usually get the Deep Blue rub out when there's something more serious, like an injury or one that I'm trying to prevent back when I was playing tennis. Okay, so now talking more about school or when we're going to stores, we've been needing to wear masks, and I'm not going to get into my opinion about masks. But if you've been on social media and if you just know me, I think you know where I stand on this. I will simply say that it is not an alternative, or it's not as good as your immune system. You still want to be focusing on boosting your health naturally. And I do wonder if the masks are doing more harm than good, but don't know for sure. And I am willing to do what other businesses are thinking is best for them. So if you are using a mask, in those instances, or when your child is at school, I know they are required to wear them now. You'll just want to make sure that you're washing them daily, or if you're using disposable masks, replacing them. It is a good idea to have a cotton mask, preferably an organic cotton mask, because you or your child is breathing those chemicals in the entire time you're wearing it. Excuse me. So that is why I don't like the disposable ones for a few reasons. It's mostly plastic, I believe, so you are inhaling that, again, direct route to the lungs. It's not good for the environment, and I have been seeing these dumped everywhere. So don't really like the disposable option, although I suppose if you are not wanting to be touching your mask and then spreading germs to others, that is the easiest way not to do that. But it's still going to happen, especially with the kids. Anyway, just try to wash it as often as possible. You can put oils in the mask. We did this yesterday when my son insisted that he go to the store with me. He put Island Mint in his mask, and I put Adaptive. And you can just put one drop in there. I let it air out for a little bit to make sure it didn't get on my skin. And then it was nice and pleasant the whole time I was shopping. And for my son, Island Mint has peppermint or spearmint in it, something minty, and that helps to open up the airways. So that's when you may want to consider Breathe would be another choice, or just peppermint or spearmint by themselves would help open up their airways. And if your child is not used to wearing a mask, you can be practicing this at home. I know in our area, most schools are doing distance learning right now, and then I guess we'll see how it goes, but they're thinking at least until October is the date, the month I heard, when they'll consider going back to brick and mortar schools. But I know some schools are just doing it. Anyway, if you know that your child will need to be wearing a mask, wear it at home. Try to make it fun. Using the oils will definitely help with that. So let's talk about healthy lunches, because you are in complete control here, especially now when I don't think cafeterias are functioning in most schools. This is a good thing, in my opinion, if you're able to provide a healthy lunch for your child. Hopefully the children who do need more help will be getting those free lunches still. But when you are making a lunch for your child, try to leave out any sugary treats. You'll be getting, they will be getting enough sugar simply from fruit. So include fruits and vegetables. You can make it easier for them to eat it by having something fun like dips or a salad dressing. So dips like hummus. Make a variety of liquids that they can dip their fruits and vegetables in. No juice. Again, there's lots of sugar in juice, and sugar does deplete gut health. You are feeding the harmful bacteria when you supply the body with a lot of sugar. Make sure they have their On Guard hand sanitizer or another natural hand sanitizer available to wash their hands. Again, it's nice to use soap and water instead. That is what helps prevent disease the most. But hand sanitizer is second best. Oh man, guys, I'm so relaxed here with this fan blowing on me. Okay, we're almost done here. And then whole organic foods whenever you can. So no packaged foods. Look at these lunches here. They look pretty easy for you and really fun. These little mini cucumbers and cherry tomatoes are adorable. Just talk like that about their food. Oh my God, this is such a cute lunch, or look how cool, we're gonna cut it cool this way. You know how to talk to your kid to to make them more interested in something, food is amazing. And talk about the amazing things that it's doing to their bodies, and they will be more interested in it. I have a blog post on this too. So let me know if you need help with that. And I love this quote here. You are the parent. You set the tone. You are in complete control here, and just be persistent. Please don't assume that just because your child is saying no today, that they'll keep saying no. My son today ate beef pate on toast, and he ate it as a baby and then stopped for a really long time. And I just offered it to him today. It helped that he was really hungry and was like, sure, I'll eat it. And he said, you know what, this is actually good. Some more liver on the menu. Here's some more food ideas. For breakfast, you can be making a quick and easy smoothie. Smoothies are so great because you can sneak in vegetables and fruits. This is where you would put the Terra greens and maybe the IQ Mega. You can put those in oatmeal as well. I like to beef up my oatmeal with more fat, so putting in coconut oil or nuts and seeds to make it so they don't have this huge blood sugar surge, because oatmeal is primarily just carbs, and it's nice to have more protein and fats to balance that out. So having an egg on the side or just an egg dish instead. Meat, if your family eats meat, bacon or sausage, even leftover dinner is a good idea for breakfast or even lunch as you prepare it. Protein for lunch, make sure there is meat or cheese or egg. Fermented soy, so like tempeh, and yeah, I can't think of other alternatives right now. You don't want a whole lot of processed soy, so just the fermented variety. Fruits, veggies, healthy fats, guacamole, just avocado on its own. I have, since I was a little kid, been eating avocado just with a spoon, and that's what I was feeding Shay as a baby. That was one of his first foods. So just half an avocado and a spoon should be enough. Soaked nuts, when you soak them, it makes it easier to digest them. And there is not as much, I can't remember what it is that is really challenging for your body to digest. It starts with a P. I'll tell you later. But let me know if you have questions about that. Hummus is a great dip. And then healthy carbs. So crackers and chips aren't exactly healthy, but they make it more interesting, especially if you're scooping up hummus and guacamole too. Just make sure they're organic and non-GMO. So if you're talking about corn chips, non-GMO varieties especially. Okay, so we have been talking about this kids kit, and yes, I think we did talk about all 7 today. So if you are a doTERRA customer and you don't already have this for your child, I highly recommend that you get it for them today or soon. It is super empowering for them to have this at their fingertips whenever they need it. And again, the flashcards is pretty clear. It's enough for them to know what to do. So let's go here first. If you are not a doTERRA customer already, you may want to consider becoming one, and you would want to consider maybe this starter kit that I put together. So I bundled this myself, so I have a link I can give you with all of these products, and it will take you to a shopping cart. And if there is something that you don't want in here, then you can take that out and replace it with something else that we talked about today that you may like. So this is, the price here includes wholesale pricing for a whole year. So that is $35 to open the wholesale account, and then the price of all these products. If you are not wanting to pay wholesale, then you can be choosing one of the doTERRA kits instead. Some of these are quite big and would be appropriate if you're wanting to make a drastic change, changing out the toxic products in your home. So the natural solutions at the bottom would be more appropriate, but we even have really small kits like the simple solutions, which you may want to do just to waive the $35 fee. And then you can add in any of the other oils that we talked about, or even the kids kit. Putting that on top of the simple solutions would save you that $35 fee and get you bulk savings on top of that. So sorry, these are a little out of order. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about the wholesale benefits. It's 25% off retail, so makes sense if you're wanting to try more than a couple of oils for the whole year. It pays for itself very quickly and is just like a Costco membership. No difference. You have no obligation to continue ordering. You just do so when you need to in your own account. So you don't need to continue going through me, although I am available for support. There is discounted shipping and product deals. And actually, when you do their rewards program, you get your shipping reimbursed in points that you can apply to future orders, getting free and discounted products through that rewards program, and then access to the business opportunity if you see yourself doing something like I am right now, educating others on how to live naturally and being compensated for helping others. Okay, so that is it. If you are needing help with getting started, simply just reach out to me. If you're already in the Facebook group, you can message me there. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I have my contact information in the description below. So thank you so much, everyone who joined me for this very important subject. And say goodbye to you all. So hope you have a great rest of the day, great week, and hope to connect with you all soon. Take care.